Hi. I thought that for my column this time, I'd try something a little different than the usual wall of text that you normally see from me, and I'd give a video a shot. As the title suggests, today's post is all about the wonders of ENDA. Please call your senator, state senator, the one that goes to Congress, to part of the federal Senate and sits in that room with 100 and some odd other people, and actually, says no to everything, it seems like these days, because that's what they do. That's their job. It's to say no. I think. Sure. Anyways, and tell them to vote for ENDA. Call them, which is okay, but if you really want to have an impact right now, pull out a piece of lined notebook paper or whatever and get a pen, not a pencil, a pen, something that, never mind. Get a pen and a piece of paper and actually write a letter by hand. I know people have forgotten how to do that, but that's kind of important to do because that's how you manage to make people understand what the hell you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, that's right. And you want to write the letter, and you want to tell them to vote for it, because not voting for it means that they actually are voting, but to make tens of millions of people suffer discrimination needlessly. Really. Here's my guy. I'm saying that even though I know that at the same time there's been some sort of changes done to the bill that nobody knows what those changes are specifically, and we know that they deal with transphobe. And I am a transphobe. Some people are actually starting to doubt that now, but that's the truth. I'm trans. I can show you a series of pictures and never mind. The things said in general thus far have to do with the various aspects of gender expression. Representative Frank, Massachusetts, said something about dresses and mustaches, to give you an example. That's talking specifically about gender expression, which is kind of the way that you express or you show the world the kind of person you are. It's kind of like, getting nails done or something. In any case, the thing that's most interesting to me, though, is the little piece of that bugaboo about trans lives. Okay, I'm going to have to scroll down here because I don't have somebody to do it for me in a teleprompter. And that's modesty spaces. Modesty spaces are the segregated areas like showers and locker rooms and restrooms and similar type spaces where personal modesty, and in particular, American modesty, because those of us in the U.S. are very seriously weird about our modesty and about places of modesty. But where modesty and personal modesty is at a premium. Before I go on, I'm going to go ahead and mention the fact that most trans people that I've encountered, all kinds of different sorts and types and shapes and ways of doing it, have a strong tendency to be a hell of a lot more modest than you might expect. Yeah, especially the lower you go. There's another argument, and I'll cover it later, as I want to look at this bathroom thing right now. Now, the other argument that I'll talk about at some other point is the whole teacher thing. I mean, nobody really wants to be taught by drag queens or transsexuals or whatever you want to call those things. That's the idea of the other argument. I kind of think that that's really got some flaws to it on a logical, basic understanding and the whole war of sexes thing, but I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the bathroom thing, the modesty space thing. And we're going to do that right now. Especially since discussions like this, in fact, are talking about the risk that I, personally, pose to other women. Because apparently I pose a relatively large risk to other women. I was thinking about this whole bathroom thing, you see. And I put some thought into it, and about the only compromise that I can see being reached, the one most likely to seem reasonable to cisfolk, meaning people who are something other than trans or intersex, is to say that an employer gets to decide what restroom the trans person will use. That's kind of what they're talking about. They're saying, Frank in particular said that unrestricted access to restrooms just wouldn't fly. Now, that might be a special restroom set aside for the use of trans people. Now, this isn't the sort of thing like a handicap spot where, you're driving in and it's for those who have some sort of a disability, where the change is done for the benefit of the person who's singled out, the handicapped person. Kind of disabled person? That doesn't seem right because they're pretty able to me. But in any case, I understand the thing. I mean, disabled will work, okay? Not as able, who knows? It gets into a whole other scary room. Really piss poor at, so I'm going to skip that button. Nor is it like the voluntary aspect of giving up a seat on the bus to a woman or a child or a senior citizen, again, to the benefit of the person singled out. You see, in those cases, there's a need for that person, the person singled out, to have such things. A need on the basis of, they're having something that stops them from being able to utilize the rest of the space or whatever. Maybe it's they can't walk across a large parking lot very fast and might hurt themselves or something, or get hurt by somebody else, which is actually even more likely. Or maybe it's, it's a big bus, the bus is moving, gives them the chance to sit down quickly and get a seat, and makes it easier for them to get on and off the bus, that sort of thing. It's for the ease of the person being singled out. That's an important key, the person being singled out. You there? Okay? Okay. Now, this is a special place, in the case of the trans people in the restroom, set aside because the particular people, trans people, make other people uncomfortable. Oh gosh, I went too far. Sorry. Okay, they make other people uncomfortable. Like folks who didn't want to drink water from the same fountain as other people with darker skin, or use the same restrooms as people with darker skin. But that will sound reasonable to people, because to a lot of people, a lot of cis people in particular, the above was perfectly reasonable for decades. It was fine for us to sit there and look at somebody who had darker skin and say, well, you use that one over there because you're just gross. Okay? And, those trans people, you use that one over there because you're just gross. Okay? You make me sick. I don't know how to deal with you. You're weird. Anyways, I'm really trying to do this with a straight face and I'm failing horribly. And this is really what it's like when I'm writing my things. I'm just warning you now. This is what's going and how it comes out when I write it. Okay, so now truly. Except I don't look as nice. Well, okay, never mind. But that will sound reasonable to people because a lot of people, the above was, wow, went too far again. Perfectly reasonable for decades. A compromise like that would further single out the individuals working there, so it would likely be a makeshift kind of space, I mean, they don't want to spend a lot of money on a special restroom just for that one or two people that they might get so that they can be kind of thinking, so they're not going to do it. I'm sorry, they just aren't. We're going to have a whole bunch of bathrooms where people say, you use that one there, and it's actually a broom closet with a bucket. Hey, just saying. It might even be in a different building, some building far away, and require extra time and reduction in the productivity of that individual employee to be used. Because, if they go into a different building, they're not as weird here, so they go across the area, they go to the different building, and it takes them, 10 to 15 minutes to get there, 10 to 15 minutes to get back, that's half an hour, not counting the time they would spend there. Let's say that, they had a really bad day, they're crying, or they drank too much the night before when they went out partying, and, most people are going to be thinking, okay, so they're working here, and then they're going out late at night, and, they're deceiving guys, and that sort of thing, so they need a little extra time in the restroom. We'll call it an hour and a half just to go potty. Yeah.